Hey guys, welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast. Week number 17 in the NFL is here, and me and my main man Reese are here to break it down. We got the Bills at home for one of their final games at the New Era Stadium going into our new stadium next year. But this is the final 425 game, assuming we get one in the postseason. But the Bills are hosting the Philadelphia Eagles right now, looking at a 1.5 point line and a 44.5 total. This is pretty much one of the only games in the 4 o'clock window. It's at 425, and we are going to break it down. So, how are we feeling about this 11-4 Bills team hosting this 10-5 Eagles team?
Well, this game is going to be a bit of a challenge considering who's already been noted as not playing in this game. Now you're not going to have a Daquan Jones. It looks like. So there's two more. That's another starting DC that's not going to be playing. You already got Ed Oliver out. Now he's going to probably be out. Um, you also have uh, Jordan Poyer not playing.
Yep.
So now you're going to have to probably go with like a Cam Lewis or the rookie that they have currently. I mean, do you trust either one of them out there? It's guaranteed that the Eagles are going to test them deep. That's a given.
Yep.
So now you got to bank on that. You got Josh with the ankle, and at this point, you got to pretty much say protect Josh at all costs
Oh,
because
1000%.
we cannot. I'd rather take the loss in this game than lose Josh Allen for the playoffs.
Hmm.
So same way you treated Miles Garrett in them last week, do the same thing on that interior. Do that same thing on that interior because they have some hogs in that interior. They're getting they got Jordan. It says returned, so that's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one to run up through the middle. I expect them to probably do a lot of outside, try to get those guys moving side to side, but it's gonna be a challenge stopping those two from us. And if you put both teams up against each other, offense and offense probably washes each other. I mean, at this point, with the way both teams are playing offensively, and the Eagles have a better defense. So, I mean, things kind of say that the Eagles are probably winning this game, but we know the Bills.
Yeah.
This is the type of game that Josh Allen shows up. I just want them to keep him under control due to that ankle injury.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I guess the first thing that I want to get your take on, and we kind of briefly talked about this offline before we got started here. Do the Eagles I mean, do you really think the Eagles are going to go all out here? They do have Washington next week, which is a nothing game for them. They're not going to get the bye, right? Like they cannot get the 1 seed in the NFC. It is impossible. They could potentially move up to the 2 right now. They can't get the 4. That's going to be Tampa or Carolina. So, I mean, you'd be looking at presumably playing because we have no idea how the NFC is going to shake out, is my point. It's going to likely be the Rams or Seattle at the 5, depending on how the next 2 weeks shake out. But then it's either going to be San Francisco or Green Bay in that 6 or 7 spot. But we honestly have no idea how that's going to kind of shake itself out. Now, I would think if you're the Eagles, you probably rather play the Packers, but I don't know. I guess my point is, though, overall, do you really think they're going to go all out here to try to win this game? Whereas we know the Bills, especially if the Patriots find a way to stumble against the Jets tomorrow, the Bills obviously would, go all out in the attempts to win the division. But do the Eagles need this game? And do you think they're going to put pedal to the metal tomorrow?
I absolutely believe they will. I believe they will. They're having returning players who haven't played in the last few weeks. They're going to want to set a tone and show that they've returned. Um, I think the only person that's probably not going to play, which is I mean, it works in our favor, is Lane Johnson. He didn't practice again Friday. So that tells us that, he's considered like the best right guard in the league. And their record when he plays and when he doesn't play are completely two different things, two different worlds. So if he doesn't play, that kind of sways things kind of in the Bills' direction, just
Mhm.
because of how their record is with him without him. So I think they're still going to play. I do. I don't expect anything else.
When you take a look at this Eagles team right now, I mean, they really. they've definitely fallen from grace for what they were last year. Obviously, they won the championship last year, but they just do not appear to be the same team that they were last year. Their offense, especially, because their defense has been good most of the year. Their defense has really kept them in a lot of games, but their offense, led by Jalen Hurts, has really stumbled a bunch this year. And they've had a lot of weird games where they really just could not score points at all. They had a game a couple of weeks ago with the Chargers where I think they turned the ball over like 4 or 5 times in that game, and they barely were able to scrape 16 points on the board. And there's just been a bunch of games where this team has just really and the reason I say that is because considering the weapons, right? Like you've got two elite wide receivers, you've got one of the best running backs in the league, and a relatively decent offensive line. So, I mean, is it Hurts or like, I mean, why is this Eagles team struggling so much?
Um, in my opinion, it's a little bit of the Super Bowl hangover. Also, don't forget the fact is that you lose coaches too. They have a different OC this year that's calling plays,
Yeah,
and I know their fan base isn't too thrilled with his play calling right now. So, I mean
that
that
sounds
has some of
familiar.
it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounds something that may have a lot to do with it. Um, one of the major, I think, one of the major issues for me is the locker room. You have a lot of alphas in that locker room.
Yeah.
A lot of egos, a lot of characters in that locker room. So that I mean, I commend Sirianni for at least keeping some of that under control, but you can see it. AJ Brown throws his tantrums when he doesn't get the ball. Um, I mean, Jalen Hurts sometimes looks he's completely disinterested. I mean,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes just look at him like, does he even care that he's even playing in this game right now? So they got a lot of they got a lot going on with that team. So I think it's a little bit of all that, and you throw all that together in one bowl, and you get a team that has a lot of inconsistencies, even though considering the talent that they have on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you, and I definitely agree about the alpha point because we've heard a lot of noise out of AJ Brown this year, and Jalen Hurts really, well, he's been mostly quiet with regards to all of the crap that the media has given him this year because you hear all the talking heads, they give him a lot of grief. But at the same time, he's not immune to all of that either, I think. And you've said this before on this channel where as much as these guys say they don't listen to it, they listen to it. They hear everything. And I'm sure he probably carries that around with him as well. And there might be, and you're also probably right. There probably is something to that Super Bowl hangover as well.
And let's not forget too, you know, everyone's been talking about it. Josh Allen and McDermott have never beat the Eagles. So if you're going to tell me, that's why I said Josh is going to be on go. He's going to be in playoff mode for this game, and that's my concern is that with that defense they have over there, I just don't need Josh taking too many chances.
Yeah.
Just throw the ball away if you got to. Just throw the ball away. None of that running to the sidelines. Just get rid of the ball. Make it to the next down. That's all I need him to do. I don't need him to try and be a superhero on this one.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the AFC playoff race, right? Like obviously we want, it'd be incredible if the Jets found a way tomorrow, right, with the Patriots, although they're 13 and a half point dogs, and I'm not really going to get my hopes up that the Jets are going to do anything. But with that said, right, like it's very realistic that the Bills will find their way to the 5 spot in the AFC playoffs, which would very likely is going to be the Pittsburgh matchup, which is, I think, really what they want, right? Like it's really, I think that's the matchup you want more so than whatever else the hell happens with the AFC West, because there's still a universe where if the Chargers win today and they win against Denver next week, they win the division. So, I mean, who knows who's going to get a home playoff game there? And then the Patriots could still get the bye. Jacksonville could still get the bye. I mean, I don't know. I feel like of all of the teams in the first round, you definitely want to play Pittsburgh first and, let Denver and Houston play each other, let Jacksonville and the Chargers play each other, or like whatever else you have to have happen. But I think that sweet spot is that Pittsburgh matchup if you can get it.
Well, As much as I hate looking at his stupid face, Vrabel, can't stand the way he looks on the sidelines. Isn't it annoying?
His cutoff sweater.
I mean, it looks like he's out there playing golf. Then he makes these stupid faces after every play and every call by an official. He complains about everything.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah. But the one thing I can say is that the dude's a damn good coach.
Yeah.
He's a damn good coach, and I chances are we're not winning our division. That team is going to be all focused on winning the division. And the only thing you can hope is that maybe something in their heads also think they can get the number one. Maybe they get a little too cocky. Maybe they're thinking about way too ahead of into the playoffs. So that's the only you can hope is that they're thinking like that we want the number one over the division, which is the most important thing is taking it game by game and just winning the division first, no matter what your seeding is after that. So I expect them to have them on point for that. So I mean, chances are, yeah, we're going to probably be the number five. I mean, I think the Bills will make some form of a push on that Jets game just to end the season with a win at the stadium. Because who knows if we even have an opportunity to have a playoff game this season. Um, but you know, I expect this to be a really tight game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring at all. I
No,
think
I
you're
don't
going to see
either.
a lot of running. It's going to be a fast game. This game is going to be over just before 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Yeah, getting back to that point about the Patriots, I this is going to sound, I mean, it would be, as a Bills fan, I'd love for them to just be in the wild card round and then just to play any one of these teams and then just have them get obliterated. Like have the Chargers go into Foxborough and just smoke them, or have the Texans defense just light them up. Like to me, that would be a lot of fun. But as a guy who wants my team to go to the Super Bowl, I kind of really want them to be, I want them to get the bye because I want one of these teams that's frankly, in my opinion, better than them to be eliminated. Like, or to have the opportunity to be eliminated. Like, I think, like, if I had to rank all of the teams outside of the Bills with which I'm most not even afraid of, but I think would give the Bills the most problems, I put Jacksonville and Denver ahead of the Patriots. So I think that's a hard. I think Jacksonville and Denver are harder games. So I'd rather the opportunity that those teams lose. And if Houston gets in, they're very likely they will get in. But if we have to play Houston in whatever weird world we would have to play them, it very likely would be here. And you've made
Mm-hmm.
the point numerous times they come here, they lose.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about Houston coming here. I'm not worried about the Chargers coming here. But yeah, if you can find a way to have Denver and Jacksonville out of the picture, I mean, we can go into Foxborough and win. We just did that 2 weeks ago. And I'm not worried about that game at all. I'm not worried about the Chargers coming here. I'm not worried about the Texans coming here.
Yeah, there's this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not worried about Denver whatsoever. Their offense is a tire fire.
Yeah.
You're just getting away with all this because of their defense. And Josh is that same defense that's doing what they're doing this year. Got smoked by Josh Allen last year.
Hmm.
They got smoked by Stafford this year.
Hmm.
So that defense is not all that great when it comes to probably the top five quarterbacks.
Oh yeah.
So,
No, you're
and
absolutely right.
I'm absolutely not afraid of Denver. Not to and cold weather doesn't matter. It's a wash. So for me, you can add Denver in there too. I don't want to see Houston in Houston. That's the only team that I don't want to see in the playoffs. That structure. Do not want to go to Houston to play. And as you said, likelihood is that if we do end up playing them at some point, they would have to come here. And
Yeah.
I highly doubt the Houston Texans who play in a dome and still stay in a relatively warm climate area is going to come into Buffalo in January,
Yeah.
icy cold, possible rain, possible snow, and play the same way they did back at home.
Yeah.
That defense will not be the same defense that you've seen the way they play in Houston.
Yeah. And that, I mean, and and you're right. Like they're very likely going to have to go on the road, week with the wild card weekend of the playoffs. I mean, they may go to Denver, they may go to the Chargers, which they might, we might get a preview of that game. Actually, we will get a preview of that game today, and it'll be very interesting to see how that Chargers Texans game goes today because, it's going from a dome to a warm weather. Or no, they play. Where did the Chargers play? Do they play at SoFi as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean dome to dome. So like I don't really think that's going to matter too much. And if they go to Jacksonville, that's warm too, right? So I don't really think that matters much. But if the Texans have to go to Foxborough or they have to come here, I mean, that's going to be radically different for them. But I mean, we're talking the Texans wouldn't be coming here until the AFC Championship game, if at all,
Mhm.
right? So because if they're the 6 or the 7, they're going to have to go through. They're going to have to win 2 rounds, which I don't know if that defense is going to be able to travel and win 2 rounds.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, especially, I mean, their offense is what generally costs their team.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
more likely Stroud will be the starter.
Hmm.
And I mean, I quite frankly think that any one of these teams in that top four that you named could probably beat them, especially if they're at home, except for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Patriots,
I mean,
I don't think it matters what. I mean, okay, let me take that back. 'Cause I think the same thing applies. Well, I think the same thing applies as if they Houston went to New England. It's the same climate, so that plays in their favor. But I take their secondary against Drake May all day.
oh yeah.
So I mean, if you're gonna in a high pressure situation, we've seen what happens to Drake May. He kind of shrivels up,
Hmm.
and I'm pretty sure that he gets into that situation in the playoffs, he's going to freeze again, or he's going to try and push so much that he's going to end up costing the game. So I take that back. So that one I reverse on, but most all these other teams, they'll beat Houston.
Well, I mean, Josh Allen alone has more playoff experience than all of these quarterbacks combined. I mean, Drake May's never been in the playoffs. CJ Stroud has lost in the wild card round almost every time except once. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has what, one playoff game under his belt? Bo Nix has one playoff game under his belt. Drake May has none. The Chargers have one, two. I think they have one, and
Mm,
they he
well,
and he threw 4 picks last year.
oh yeah, they went. That was their first playoff win, moving them to the.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I mean they looked awful. So and like then that's one of the things too. Like the moment is so different for these guys. And like, we've talked about Lamar a lot on this channel, and there's a big difference between regular season Lamar and playoff Lamar.
Mhm.
And that's a thing for a lot of quarterbacks because of the moment and the way the postseason is, win or you're done.
Well, see, that's what makes players like Josh Allen unicorns.
Mhm.
Obviously you throw in Patrick Mahomes. I do think Burrows, when he's healthy, is the same type of quarterback. Um, those are the guys they've been through everything and anything you can name. So you have one in the playoff this year in the AFC. And if you're going to put your money on the Bills, this would be the year to put it on them.
Yeah.
It's just that I know it's hard to make that bet just due to the inconsistencies of this team right now and so many injuries that we have. So I'm hoping to make some sort of announcement about Ed Oliver.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really hoping they can get him in at least for some snaps against the Jets.
Yeah, I haven't
Because
been
I
with
don't
him.
want him to come in cold for that wild card game.
Well, I think more than likely it would be the playoff game. So I mean, Jim, they probably ramp him up. They announced that they're opening his window up, probably
Yeah,
right at the Jets game,
yeah.
and you know he's probably already practicing anyway. I'm pretty sure I know for a fact these players when they're not supposed to be practicing, they're practicing. So I expect Ed Oliver to probably maybe make that first game because it's kind of probably quiet around him, right?
I haven't heard
It's got
anything. I've heard nobody speak about Oliver at all.
Yep, yep. I mean, the last thing we seen with Ed was him doing those push-ups, which really didn't use his biceps to do, but it was good
Yeah,
to see there, Ed. But
yeah. Good job, Ed.
yeah, right. But it's gotten kind of quiet about it. No one's really asked about it. So I think there's a reason why there's not a lot of talk coming out. I think it's going to be announced they're waiting for the playoffs to start.
Yeah. So, getting back to this Eagles game real quick, then, how do you feel overall about the line, the total? I mean, I know you mentioned it's going to be a relatively quick game, a lot of rushing. I think you might have mentioned the under seems very realistic here. A lot of running, and I think it's going to be, and with the weather too, it's supposed to pour tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's going to be a lot of rain tomorrow. It's not going to be quite cold enough to snow. So I imagine these teams are going to keep it on the ground, and which is, I mean, I think it's one of the Bills' strengths. You know, James Cook is very likely going to win the rushing title this year. He's, just knocking on the door of 1,600 total rushing yards, 12 total touchdowns. I mean, that's awesome. I can't say enough good things about James Cook. And before the season started, we really, all of us here on this channel and all over the place, were bitching about that contract. And now, like, it seems like a steal.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I eat my crow on that.
Me too.
He could very well be underpaid for how valuable he's been to this offense. So, hats off to him. Um, yeah, I mean, there's no other way to go about this game. Would be a pick'em game. So for that, I mean, even Vegas believes that, and obviously the weather. And it's not just going to be rain; it's going to be freezing rain. So, I mean, you're talking just is going to be a lot of running. You're probably going to see like a pass the run, like a 40-60 split.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of handoffs in this game. So, the question is going to be what defense can stop the run, and we know our defense when it comes to the run. Um, I mean, Philadelphia's run game has been a little iffy this year. I don't know. I don't know. It looks like there's a little wear and tear on him right now. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. But again, they got a new OC, so that could be another reason. Because sometimes their offense seems like it's just there's no rhythm to it.
Yeah, with you
You know
there.
what I mean? They'll like they run odd times, or they'll throw the ball in a spot where they should be running in. So I mean that has a lot to do it. But I think Saquon, if we can stop Saquon, I'd rather just stop Saquon and force Jalen Hurts to beat us.
Yeah.
That's what I'd rather happen than just let Saquon eat us up and then they eat us up with play action after that. So
Yeah.
just get everybody to the ball, 8, 9 in the box. I don't care. Just force them to have to throw the ball. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think that makes sense. I would imagine that's probably the game plan they're going to go with. McDermott is very old school when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And you look at the stars there, and even in the way Philadelphia has been playing, their inconsistencies are all over the place. So I think that makes sense that they would do that.
Well, I'm just afraid that, Brady has this tendency in moments like this to do the opposite of what he should be doing. So I would not be surprised they open up with a play action pass right off the muscle. Pass, and then try to run it.
You're
I'm gonna
probably
tell
right
you,
with
I would not be surprised if that's going to be the opening game script.
run on 3rd and 10.
Yeah. So I don't that's what I expect because he does that weird stuff sometimes.
Huh. Yeah, that's true.
Well, let's
So
hope that Cade and Knox are both in this game too. They're another one. They were
they're both
limited.
listed as questionable right now, but
Yeah.
it sounds like they're going to play.
Yeah. So hopefully they both make it.
Yeah. Okay. So anything you want to add before we go around the league?
No, man. Let's go Bills. Again, I just want to get out of this one just as healthy as possible. Protect
Yeah.
Josh at all costs. We're not going to be gambling around this game. I don't even want to do any tush pushes with them in this game.
No.
Give it to the
No.
running backs.
Yeah, I don't want anybody falling on that ankle, anybody going anywhere near that ankle. No, I mean, just like, I don't want anyone taking a shot at his legs, nothing.
Yep. Just give it to the running backs and let them do their jobs.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to take this opportunity to go around the league. So Christmas Day saw 3 games occur. A completely meaningless one in Washington, where it saw the Dallas Cowboys win 30-23. Of the 3 games that occurred on Christmas Day, this was the best one. by a lot. It had the most action. I mean, it was the highest scoring game of the day. And I mean, these two teams, neither one of them was playing for anything, but it was an enjoyable game to watch. I watched most of it, and yeah, it was fun. It's a good game, good solid, good just good solid football game, even though it didn't really have any meaning.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun to watch. It was a good opener for the holiday. I give you that. And then, until we got to that stinker.
I'll let you talk about this next one. So the next one saw Detroit, who needed the game to stay alive in the playoff hunt, lose to the Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota, 23-10. Saw Jared Goff turn the ball over 6 times, and the Minnesota quarterback have 7 net passing yards, and somehow still found a way to beat a team that needed the win in order to stay alive. So take it away, Reese.
And see, this is exactly what I think the issue was with Goff. And I think that's exactly why McVay said, no, we are not. I'm not doing this. And he had that same tendency when he was there. He'd crash in the moment. And here's a game where you absolutely needed it. And you can't blame their defense for this game.
Right.
And they did their jobs. But their offense kept putting them in bad spots. And they don't have the type of defense that could just shut down anybody's offense. And I mean, I was shocked. I expected it to be a tight game just because it was a divisional game. I expected Minnesota to probably run the ball a lot more than they did. I thought there was going to be just an absolutely run heavy game due to the fact that they weren't playing for anything. McCarthy wasn't in the game, and they just wanted to get through it. But they came to play, and the Lions did the same thing they did last year, and the same thing they did the year before. Crashed in a moment.
Hmm?
Crashed in, and a lot of it had all started with the quarterback. And Goff is a good quarterback. I'm not saying that at all. But there's just certain guys who just can't do that. Who else is like that? Is Sam Darnold.
Yep.
He's another guy. When it comes to that one pivotal spot where you need him to be that guy to win the game, falls apart.
Yep.
And I think the pressure of that game and it being on the road and in that stadium, I think Goff I think he just burnt out. I just think he just fell apart. After that first turnover, it was just a tidal wave after that.
Yeah. It was, I mean, that was hard to watch. Like, I'm I I'm certainly glad I wasn't even though I did draft him in fantasy, I was certainly glad that I was eliminated and was no longer relying on Jared Goff to carry me through the championship round because yikes.
Yeah, yeah. He hurt me a bit too. I mean, I got some points out of St. Brown. I couldn't get a TD out of him, but I got some points on the board.
Yeah. Eesh. And then the night game saw Denver again just squeak by Kansas City. I mean, they were losing in the third quarter, I believe 10-7 or 7-6 or something like that. And they ended up winning 20-13. But this one was like Kansas City was playing a quarterback whose name sounds like a Street Fighter attack move. And I mean, like, what are we doing here, Denver? Like, you need this game, and you're losing to what is his name, Chris Hadouken or something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, good Lord,
Oh,
that right? Like, I mean, come on, Denver. Like, you need to be better than that. It's not. They look like they just still had the hangover from their loss to Jacksonville last week, and they got a big one again against the Chargers next week. So I don't know about Denver, and I feel like if Denver doesn't get that bye, they're gonna get bounced in the first round.
well, again, this comes down to playoff experience again, right? I mean, they're both Nick's first opportunity in the playoffs. He got destroyed by Josh Allen. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the pressure he was feeling it in this one because their offense is again. I know teams are giving them credit as being a good. They're not a bad team. They're a good, very, very good team. It's just their offense isn't that great, and their offense is what holds that team back. And and their defense has a tendency not to beat top five quarterbacks the way they're structured. It's a smaller, faster defense. So most of those teams get ran through,
Mhm.
especially against the top quarterbacks. They know exactly how to play against those type of defenses. So that was it was sad. I was shocked, but then there's another side of you got to say that Andy Reid's always is a genius no matter what. He
Yeah.
figures out how to use a quarterback and his weapons to the best. On a drop of a dime, he can make up a play plan, a plan for a game, and all structure would be called, and it looks good, no matter who's out there. I'm sitting there. I was expecting them to, do a lot of screens to Worthy, that type of stuff in this game, but they were actually letting them drop back and throw the ball.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was shocked. So yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, Denver. It's come on now, 2 weeks in a row. Not
Yeah.
good. Not good.
Yeah. So then today we have two games. Houston is traveling to the Chargers. We briefly talked about that a minute ago. That is in about an hour's time. Uh, that one's going to be wild. I mean, the playoff implications for this one are huge. If the Chargers find a way to win this one, I mean, Houston's pretty much locked into the 7 at that point. So, I'm kind of rooting for that. Truthfully, I would prefer the Chargers probably just find a way to get it done here, but that's going to be very interesting to see that defense go up against that Chargers offensive line, which is just missing everybody. Herbert with the arm issue. I mean, this should be a really low scoring game as well because both of these teams have very good defenses and their offenses can be very suspect.
Well, it's not your all. I mean, Herbert has had the tendency to throw up in these moments too.
Hmm.
This is going to tell us a lot on how he plays in this game. So, I mean, he has shown. I mean, this year, I've always said in the past, prior to this season, that he just don't have the killer instinct. And if he had that killer instinct like Josh Allen, he'd probably be just as good as Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing he's missing is the killer instinct. Josh is overly competitive. He wants to win. No, even if he can get a half an inch, he's going to fight to get a half an inch. Herbert's not that type of guy. So um, let's see what he does. Let's see if he's learned something from last year, playing in the playoffs for the first time, and see if he took anything with him for this time around.
Yeah. No, I'm completely with you there. And I mean, of the two games today, this is certainly the better one. And I mean, it's certainly the one that has, the substantial stakes to it, I think, as well. Which takes us to the night game, which a week ago was super interesting. Now is not interesting at all, as we've got Baltimore traveling to Green Bay. Um, we've spoken at length in this channel about Lamar, and I know Sean's not here, but Sean is really of the mind that Lamar gave up on the team a while ago. And Green Bay also is without their quarterback as well as he's suffered from a concussion last week. And Green Bay has just been San Francisco levels of devastated by injuries as well. So Green Bay right now is favored by 3 in this one, but I mean, if Baltimore loses, they're done. Like they're mathematically eliminated from postseason contention. So I mean, I kind of want to root for Baltimore to win a little bit because I don't want to give Pittsburgh 2 weeks of rest. Because that's what's going to happen, right? I mean, Baltimore's 7-8 right now. So if they drop this one and go to 7-9, Pittsburgh's already at 9 wins, and that game next week against Pittsburgh isn't going to matter. So I really hope Baltimore can find a way to pull this off with Huntley, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a tough one because I mean you're figuring both teams aren't going to even have their starting quarterbacks, but so then now you got to go against what defense is better than whose. And
Yep.
obviously Green Bay, even though they don't have Parsons and stuff, they still have a pretty good defense.
Yep.
So and they're going to be in Green Bay, so
Yeah.
I probably expect Baltimore to lose this one more than likely. Um, I think this is going to probably be a really boring game if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't know how these teams are. I mean, the line is Green Bay by 3, 38.5. 38.5 is really low, but it seems like there's just going to be a ton of running in this game. Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry are probably going to get the rock a lot in
Well, I
the
mean,
game.
which means it's going to be a quick game. It's not going to be a
Yeah.
lot of scoring. Clock's going to be rolling the entire time.
Yeah. Who's the backup in Green? It's Malik Willis, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, who
So
knows? Like, either one of these quarterbacks throw for over 100 yards.
yeah, I mean, if you yeah if you if your fantasy playoffs rely on either one of these teams tonight, you might want to consider subbing out some wide receivers like
Yep.
Zay Flowers or Dobbs, or I can't even think of anybody else on Green Bay because I think everybody else is hurt.
Watson.
Yeah. But I mean, all their big names are hurt in Green
Yep.
Bay, so yeah, that's a shame for them too, because Green Bay, they were relatively consistent at the beginning of the year, but they turned it on in the middle of the year when they got all their players back and they were healthy and they looked like a viable contender. But I mean, Chicago really took the bull by the horns there. And I mean, I'm not a big Caleb guy, but I love Chicago's coach. And I think that that's awesome for them. They've really completely turned it around in Chicago.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone questions, whether or not Ben Johnson would have been, a good head coach and whatnot. I mean, I know a lot of Bills fans are screaming for us to, get rid, let's get Ben Johnson and get rid of McDermott.
Mhm.
Um, but he's proven to it. He's proven that in the first year, where the quarterback looked like he couldn't throw a football a day in his life, for 2 seasons, he steps in 1 year and now he's turned the kid into a top 10.
Mhm.
So that tells you a lot about the coach. So, now what's going to tell us more is the consistency now. They're successful this year. They're probably ahead of what everyone they're out. Well, they're not even probably they are ahead of what everyone expected them to be at this year.
Mhm.
So the question is going to be, can they do it again?
Yeah, absolutely. So this takes us to the Sunday slate, and there's a few games that are good and a few games that don't matter. We won't look at all of them. We'll kind of just look at the ones that are relevant. Obviously, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. This game obviously only really matters if Baltimore can find a way to win tonight. But I'd rather not, as I mentioned, I'd rather not give Pittsburgh 2 weeks of rest for everybody going into the postseason.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but like I said, the likelihood is that Baltimore's going to probably lose that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we've got Jacksonville and Indy in Indianapolis. Jacksonville's favored by 5.5 is a big total, 48.5 here. I like Jacksonville to win this game a lot. I think Indy's done. And I'm assuming Rivers is probably going to start again, but I think Jacksonville's going to wipe them off the field.
Well, this is exactly how Lawrence has been winning games. Is at the exact opportunity every team at their worst.
Yeah.
So you're figuring that he's Indianapolis' secondary is trash. They can't stop anybody from with throwing the football, and you got old man Rivers back there. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been looking somewhat decent, but don't forget now. Once you get a couple of weeks in and you get a tape, now defenses are going to change. So what are you going to do, Indianapolis, when he starts getting pressured? You start going against some of these good fronts. So they're talking about possibly asking him to play next year. I'm like, what are we doing?
That would be hilarious.
I mean, that
Make it happen,
organization went
please.
from Anthony Richardson to Danny Dimes to 50-year-old Philip Rivers.
Yep.
What are we doing? You're going the wrong way with your quarterbacks.
And they traded all of their first round picks away, all of them.
Wow. And this year, you did all this and you weren't even expected to make the playoffs. And I get it. You know what? I agree with any team that decides that they want to go for it. But you overdid it.
Yeah.
You knew this team wasn't ready. You know you have an iffy quarterback. I don't care what current success you've had because he's had that same success in New York and they got burnt.
Hmm.
So I'm shocked that they put all their money in the Danny Dimes and they're putting all their money into Sauce Gardner. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, the one saving grace to all of that, though, is they gave those picks to the Jets. And
Yeah,
we know here in Buffalo that the Jets will find a way to screw that up.
Well, the Jets are going to trade all those, every one of those picks they get, depending on where they land in that 2027 draft. They're going to absolutely they're going to push for a quarterback next year or in
Yeah,
2027. I don't think they
yeah,
make a big push this year for a quarterback in the draft. All those picks were all for 2027. Don't forget, Bean wouldn't give up his 2027 pick to get Waddle because he
yeah,
knows exactly what the Jets were going to use it for.
yeah. Yeah, and
So,
and your point is valid too, because you know maybe they saw the tea leaves on the wall there a little bit with Tua being done in Miami, because now I think Miami's probably going to need somebody too. And I wouldn't be surprised if Miami completely bottoms out next year to try and get somebody.
well, you're going to have two teams bottoming out again. You're going to have the Jets doing it again next year, and you're also going to have Miami. Now, the thing with the Jets is I expect Tyrod Taylor to probably be the quarterback next year.
Uh, I expect Kyler Murray to be the quarterback next year.
I don't think they're going to spend capital to get Kyler Murray. Not
I
with
don't
a
think they're
draft.
going to have to. I don't think they're going to have to spend that much to get him. Actually, yeah, you know what? No, he won't. He won't go and play in a cold weather. No, he'll go to Miami.
Yeah, he's not going to go. There's no way that little guy's going to go to that place and play,
Yeah, no, you're right.
especially with all the pressure.
Yeah, no, New York media. No, yeah, you're right. Kyler Murray is. He's too busy playing Call of Duty. He's not going to go to. He's not going to put
Yep,
up with New York media. Yeah, you're
yep.
right.
There's no way he goes there. So I expect Tyrod to probably be their carryover quarterback next season, and they're going to draft their next incumbent quarterback in 2027. That's what they're going to probably shoot for. Now, Miami, it's another issue. I mean, the
Yeah,
problem with them, they're not bad enough to be in the top five. And again, they're going to be another team probably shooting for that 2027.
yeah.
So I
Miami's.
expect them to, huh?
No, I was just going to say, yeah, you're right about Miami.
Yeah, both these teams are not going to make. They're going to they're just going to suck in more draft capital this next draft. They're going to use their spots to allow other teams to jump up, guaranteed.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're going to pack up so many picks that both these teams next season, more than likely, are going to be 1 and 2, trying to get their quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, there are, to your point, there are a handful of teams in the NFC that need quarterbacks as well that are probably going to be bad. And also, we can't forget about the Raiders as
Mm.
well. The
Yeah.
Raiders are going to need somebody as well, and probably a handful of other teams, which I think one of the things we should definitely talk about, and I think we need the whole crew here for that, is what this offseason is going to look like. I think like once we get to the postseason, and maybe even after the Super Bowl and we kind of see where everything shakes out, I'd love to have a conversation with you guys about where, like, what we think all these teams are going to do in the offseason, because you made this point before that there's going to be a ton of quarterback movement. I really do, because so many teams are going to be trading draft capital, and so many teams are going to be trying to just bottom out for that 2027 draft.
Yep. You can probably see teams like Indianapolis doing that if they come to their senses about Philip Rivers. Um, you're going to see teams who were on the cuffs this year might be moving on from quarterbacks to bring another quarterback. So just because they're right at that spot, they're not going to be bad enough that season for them to get into that top 5 or that top 10 for quarterbacks. So those are going to be the teams that are going to shoot to swap the quarterbacks, and then you're going to have the bad teams this year are going to continue to try to be bad next year. Don't expect Cleveland. Don't expect any of those teams. They're all going to trade off their picks this next season, this coming up draft.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting back to Miami, they have Tampa this week. And over the next 2 weeks, I was thinking about this today. Over the next 2 weeks, Miami has the opportunity to do some of the funniest things ever. They have the opportunity to eliminate Tampa from the postseason and then eliminate the Patriots from the division. So I can't believe these words are about to come out of my mouth, but I am a Dolphins fan the next 2 weeks.
First of all, you watch your filthy mouth. Okay. I don't care what we need from the Dolphins, but I will not be a fan. Okay. Now, do I hope they win? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if they lose, I really don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't. They can bottom out all the way to the bottom, and I'll put my glass underneath the Dolphins fans' tears and drink it.
But yeah, Miami has Tampa, and then obviously Seattle has Carolina, which that one should be a good one. But if Tampa loses and Carolina wins, then Carolina clinches that division. But what seems to be a bit more likely is that Tampa will beat Miami. And then the game between Seattle and Carolina doesn't matter at all, even if Carolina wins. Those two teams do play each other next week in Tampa, which will likely decide that fourth spot in the NFC.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. That's going to be a
Um,
very complex week for all those teams. A lot of implications from just one loss.
mhm. And for you bettors out there, I love Carolina +7 at home. West Coast team traveling east.
Yep.
Seattle getting 7 points going into Carolina.
Hmm.
I love that Carolina bet. I love Carolina +7 tomorrow.
Hey, by the way, what's the spread in that Cleveland game right now?
Pittsburgh is favored by 3. The line is 34.5.
Remember what I told you? Vegas said the same thing about that game. Cleveland might win that game.
Yeah, you might be right.
That's a
And
+3 from a playoff contending team against a bottom feeder, and it's a +3.
yeah, we were favored by 10. Yeah, you're probably right. I definitely like the over in that Steelers game. I think over 34.5 is very, very likely. I
Mhm.
could certainly see Cleveland winning that game like 20-17 or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep. I mean, I take the +3.
Yeah.
That's my surprise pick is I take the Cleveland +3.
Yeah. Yeah. And we briefly touched on the Jets and the Patriots as well. That's the biggest line of the weekend. The Patriots are favored by 14. The total is 42.5. I would imagine the Patriots are probably going to blow them off the field.
No,
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's not. There's
um,
nothing even to hope in that game.
yeah. And then the nightcap, which will be a good one, has Chicago traveling to San Francisco.
Mm,
And San Francisco has San Francisco's another one where if their coach with all of the injuries wins this one against Chicago and then wins next week, I think against Seattle, San Francisco's the 1 seed with
yep.
all of those injuries. So
Yep.
I mean, you got to give their coach of the year with that. I mean, doing that in that stacked that's probably the best division in football, that NFC West. I mean, you getting that team with all those injuries to the 1 seed. I mean, I still don't think San Francisco is going to make it to the Super Bowl, but I mean, that is incredibly impressive.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you're right. Right now, though, that is the best division in the entire NFL right now. Um,
Hmm.
there's a lot of parity in the division, minus Arizona. Okay, we're
We
pretend
don't
that
talk
they
much
don't
about them.
exist. Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. That division could absolutely go in any direction
Yeah.
because I mean they're very tight in teams in terms of both. All three teams have an offense. All three teams have a defense.
Yeah.
So at any
Yeah.
given moment, one of those teams could beat the other.
Yeah. It's going to be a good
So,
game, though. Real good
oh, I
game.
can't wait. I can't wait. Get your popcorn.
Hmm. So, yeah, so that is our show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, leave your comments down below. We do read and respond to all of them, and we appreciate you guys helping us to grow this channel. We've been seeing a big uptick lately, and we really appreciate all the feedback, all the views, and everything else from you guys. It's been awesome. So, Reese, do you have anything to add before we close it out for the day?
Go Bills.
Yes, sir. All right. So thank you guys as always so much for joining us. Have a fantastic NFL weekend. Enjoy the Bills game. If you guys are heading out to the stadium, we know Paulie's going to be looking for Matthew Judon. Maybe give him a high five. And with that, have yourselves a fantastic evening and take care.